Hi everybody, and I know we are meeting under very unfortunate circumstances today, but Amanda always had a way of bringing everyone together, so that is what I would like to do today in remembering her and celebrating her life. I have a question for everyone. Do you remember when you first met Amanda? No? Well, I definitely do. It was many, many years ago, and we all had mutual friends, but I had not had the pleasure of meeting her yet. But on this one day, we all met up at a friend's farm to go mudding in the big mud pit with all the trucks and four-wheelers and just do some crazy, crazy stuff. And that was the first time I met Amanda, and I remember thinking, well, we are going to be the best of friends just because how amazing she was and how kind she was. And if you knew Amanda, which everyone around here sitting here today had the pleasure of knowing her, you all knew that her main priority in life was her family. And that was what made her so amazing because not many people have that awesome family life anymore. She was also extremely into all different types of music, and she depended on it daily. I have had the privilege and honor of being one of Amanda's best friends for many years now, as that day on the farm was about 6 years ago, so it's been a while. Unfortunately, that 6 years came to an end very quickly. But we've been through a lot together, and I'm certain that you guys miss her just as much as I do. We all have great memories with her, and she was just a caring, generous, and thoughtful person, and that's what we're going to celebrate today. To start off, Amanda's taste in music is definitely something that we all need to appreciate today, because if you knew her and her taste in music, you knew it was all over the place, which every other aspect of her life was extremely organized, except with music, she had no idea exactly which was her favorite. One of her favorites, though, that topped the charts, no doubt, was country, and I would say that her taste in music and country and both heavy metal had a lot to do with her dad, Steve, who I had the privilege of talking to today about all of it, and she loved country, hands down. That was the top of her list, and he's definitely to blame or thank for that, either or. And throughout the 6 years that I've known her, we were able to attend many, many country music festivals together all around Wisconsin, which usually was in summer, and it was in the middle of some crazy cornfield, and it usually lasted a week, and it was a blast. And she would always get some tickets from work because of an amazing client that would be there that would give us tickets, and we would just enjoy the music and the company of all the country music lovers all week, and it was always the best week ever. Always looked forward to that. And another big thing about country music that a lot of you can probably relate to is that country music is generally a summertime happy music where you are driving in your car with the windows rolled down, singing at the top of your lungs. That was definitely what it was to Amanda. Now, another thing about the country music is that she hated the city, so she related better with country music because she loved being out in the country, she loved doing all of the country stuff. It was just her all-time favorite. The city made her just feel way too claustrophobic, she liked just being out in the middle of nowhere in peace. Her second favorite music of all time was heavy metal and hard rock, which was 100% influenced by her father, Steve, as all of you know, if you know him. It was definitely a good taste in music, if I must say so myself, but it was also interesting because a lot of times if you like country music, that's all you like. You don't really go back and forth, but Amanda's taste in music was always a surprise to people because she would not only be at all the country music festivals, but she'd also be at all of the rock music festivals, so she would go back and forth to all those, and it was always interesting. You know, looking back on it now, I can definitely say that her taste in music has influenced my taste in music just because of how drastic the changes of it were, and you could always count on her on having something that you love if it was any genre of music. Which brings me to another point. Her dad, Steve, and that her entire Heisdorf family was such a huge importance to her that if she was busy, it was always because it was a family function or event that she had to be a part of. And I thought I personally was extremely close to my family, but after having spent time with her and all of her family, it takes the cake, because I've never seen anyone so devoted to their family and their extended family, which I don't even have fourth cousins like she did, which is amazing. I've had the privilege of being a part of her family functions, and I've gotten to know that the 4th of July for the Heisdorf family was the biggest ordeal of the entire year, because all of the Heisdorf cousins would head up to the cabin, and everyone would just spend an entire week four-wheeling and having fun and just enjoying everybody's company, because everyone always took off of work just to be there. It was amazing, and Amanda absolutely loved it. Which brings me to another point. Amanda's cousins, Hannah and Jordan, were her best friends since birth. Amanda was the oldest, Hannah was the middle, Jordan was one of the youngest, and they talked every day. You always knew if Amanda was looking down at her phone texting someone, it was always Hannah and Jordan, because they always relied on each other for so many different issues and advice and just talking in general, because they just couldn't handle not being apart for a couple days. So always texting, and just they were so close. It's incredible. Amanda also had many relatives outside of just her cousins and aunts and uncles. There were second aunts and uncles, and there were great aunts and uncles, and there were second cousins and fifth cousins, and I don't even know if Amanda knew everyone's name, but she sure tried to. But all of those crazy distant relatives would always meet for a big family reunion at the end of every summer, which everyone always had to make a point to go out at least one of the days during that week, just so everyone could catch up and see what had gone on in the year. And that was always, you always knew that was Amanda's blocked off week, was to go visit all the family at the big family reunion. So it was always awesome. And it was always really cool to me, after talking with all of those people at the family reunions, that they all had Facebook messages and kept in touch with everybody all throughout the year, which personally, my family, my distant relatives, we maybe see once every 10 years if we're lucky. So I always thought that was so cool that she was extremely close. And another factor of her family was her two brothers, which for her entire college experience, she actually stayed home and did classes from home, just so she could be there for her little brother's sports activities and attend all their games and all their academic achievements, which leads me to Colton. Colton was her middle brother. Little brother maybe, but he was about a foot taller than her, so not so little brother. But he was in high school and Amanda was in college, so every Friday during football season, she would make a point to be at those football games, cheering him on as a varsity starter, because it was such a cool experience for everyone to witness that, because he definitely worked hard for it. He also worked extremely hard for all of his grades, so Amanda always made a point to be at all of his academic achievement award ceremonies and everything for that. And also little Cody, who is the little brother, who's here with us today. He was in elementary school during Amanda's college life, and when Amanda was home not working on schoolwork, she'd go and watch all of Cody's baseball and football games as well. And because he was the youngest of the family and Amanda was the oldest, they always seemed to get along the best. So Amanda and Cody would always go on these little adventures that she'd always tell me about, and he would always absolutely love it. And when I would talk to him, he would not be able to talk about anything else, just because he was so happy about going to the chocolate factory or wherever, just little adventures that he thought were the coolest thing, because his big sister wanted to spend time with him, which I thought was so cool. And, you know, to Amanda, that was what life was all about, spending time with her brothers, her cousins, her distant relatives, her grandparents, her parents. She always wanted to be around family because that was, above all, that was it to her. And spending time with family is what it should be all about for the most part. You know, after having known Amanda for this many years, which topping 6 years now, I've been privileged to be able to meet all of her family members and be a part of her music taste and learn what it's all about and experience that with her. And honestly, I couldn't have thought of a better way to be friends with her. You know, to me, Amanda will always be that person that I met out on the farm that one day and decided that day we would be best friends forever, which this hasn't exactly felt like forever, but one day. You know, I always thought that, you know, just being part of this was an amazing experience, because Amanda's life was something that we should all view our lives as, is spending time with family, sharing your music taste and what you love with others. That's how it should be. And honestly, as we mourn our loss of this sweet, loving soul, we should also remember that Amanda was loved and cherished by every single one of us sitting here today. And she was an amazing person and always knew how to make you feel amazing. So pass that along and tell your family and friends that you love them today. Thank you.